Hey everyone, Camden here with the Ranking Ball preview show for February 28th, 2019. Let's go. Here standing so far in the Eastern and Western Conference. Here last night's scores. You have the Rockets over the Hornets, Hawks over the Wolves, Wizards over the Nets, Heat over the Warriors, Bulls over the Grizzlies, Blazers over the Celtics, Spurs over the Pistons, Mavs over the Pacers, Jazz over the Clippers, Bucks over the Kings, and Lakers over the Pelicans. Here's tonight's games. We have six games going on tonight. We have the Wolves at Pacers, Warriors at Magic, Cavs at Knicks, Heat at Rockets, 76ers at Thunder, and the Jazz at the Nuggets. We got a couple of teams going into tonight with back-to-back games. Here's your sports news. In the NBA, Dwayne Wade hit the game-winning three in the Heat's 126-125 victory over the Warriors. Dwayne Wade had 25 points in this final matchup against the Warriors tonight. It was a really cool, amazing moment to watch Dwayne Wade hit that final three. It kind of looked like he wasn't going to get it off. It got tipped on his first attempt, and then he was able to recover the ball and just lob it up, and it hit the backboard and went into the net. Now, I said many times before, I'm a huge Miami Heat fan, and Dwayne Wade has been one of my favorite players ever since becoming a basketball fan. I remember back in 06, just sitting there and watching Dwayne Wade in the NBA Finals with Shaq, and it was just like, that's a time when I was like, this is one of my favorite players ever. So, it's really fun to watch Dwayne Wade being able to, shine like this, especially for him being in the NBA for so long. A lot of people say that he shouldn't be retiring, that he still has a lot of gas in the tank, but definitely I think this is the way for him to go up on top is the best way. So again, it was an awesome experience watching Dwayne Wade tonight. Especially with that final three, and then the American Airlines Arena just going crazy bananas. It was awesome. In the NFL, here's some really interesting news. Tony Harris is the first female football player to sign a letter of intention as a skill position player at Central Methodist University. So there have been other females who have received scholarships to attend university to play football. Usually that's like at a kicker position, not as a but not as a skill position player. So it's pretty awesome to see her. Her goal is to play for the Seattle Seahawks one day. So who knows? Maybe she can be the one to lead the generation of females in the NFL. Other NFL news, Nick Foles is going to become a free agent after the Eagles forego putting the franchise tag on him. Nick Foles is recently he was the Super Bowl MVP when they beat the Patriots in 2018. So we'll see who's going to pick up Nick Foles. I wonder where he's going to end up being in the next season. Tonight's featured match is the 76ers versus the Thunder. One of the more interesting games going on tonight. You have both teams are up on top in their respected conferences. The Thunder haven't been playing as well in the past couple of games, especially Westbrook. But we'll see what happens tonight, because in the 76ers, a lot of their players are going to be out tonight. Especially Embiid and Boban, they're out for tonight, and it might affect how tonight's ranking ball match game is going to go, and especially not only ranking ball but also the regular match as well. So that's tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Here are your injuries going into tonight, as the 76ers have around 5 players injured tonight, with the Thunder just 1 player, but Andre Robinson hasn't really played the whole season. So a lot of these players, you got huge names, some big names for the 76ers. Like I said, Joel Embiid and Boban, they are out tonight. Here are your previous game starters. And going into tonight, you should see the same starters going in there with no changes from the previous game. All right, here's some player stats for you. Here, these are sorted by their highest fantasy point average. These are some stats that you aren't going to get anywhere else besides on the Ranking Ball preview show. As we can see, for the 76ers, Embiid, Simmons, Harris, top three, but Embiid is not playing tonight. Remember that Embiid is not playing tonight. So take that into account when you are drafting your players. For the Thunder, top three: Westbrook, George, and Adams. They've been, pretty good. They've always been your top three going into this. Also know that Boban is not in tonight's game as well. Here's my winning 16 by fantasy points by 48. What that means is that it takes how many minutes per game, how many fantasy points a player is scoring per minute in the NBA match, in that real game. Is really important because as the game goes on, you want a lot of flow. You want your bingo board to be able to constantly be scoring and not. You don't want other players interacting with your board to make sure that so that there's no mix-up or hiccups. If you're going for a certain line, certain combination, you don't want other players to mess up that flow. So here are the 16 players I think you should be drafting for tonight's match. These are all my opinions, so don't take it serious. Don't take it, use it with your discretion. Use everything. Everything that I provide is all my opinion. The stats are what we've been able to gather at Ranking Ball, and I'm providing it to you. So usually you want to be concerned with your top 6 players when you are looking at this. Like you have Westbrook, George, Simmons, Harris, Adams, Butler. When you have those 6 players, because usually when you have the cross on the bingo board, those are going to be your 2.5 multiplier bingos, and that's usually where you want your best combinations to go. And how you organize it is up to you. How you're feeling that game flow is going to go. Usually the way I do it is by how players are going to be scoring fantasy points per 48. You want to let players group them together so that they are going to be constantly getting that same flow going on. Like for example, if you have Schroeder, Grant, and Redick, they're averaging 5.1, 5.1.5. Maybe even Jimmy Butler. You might want those 4 on the same line because they have the same time frame as to when they're going to score a fantasy point through the whole game match. So this is time for you to kind of pause the video and just go over some stats that might help you, that you think it might help you. I'm providing it to you. A lot of these stats are provided by basketballreference.com or NBAstats.com, probasketballreference.com, and NBAstats.com. So all this information is provided to you from those websites. It's a pretty good website, for even if I go on there, I will go on there to check other teams' matches. Like if you're playing other matches on Ranking Ball, you should definitely check that out and look at their stats. They give you constantly updated, and it gives you so much information. So here's my final draft board going into tonight. What I went a 7-9, meaning 7 away players, 9 home players. Because Philly is hurt, because Philly is not going to be able to bring out the big guns, I don't believe that the Philly team is going to contribute a lot as a whole to your ranking board draft. You might have some players picking up some slack and getting an extra few points, a few fantasy points going into tonight because they're having to pick up where the other star players or the other players who are out, you're going to have to pick up their fantasy points, like Embiid and Boban. Some other players like Bolden, who's going to be starting tonight, he'll pick up more fantasy points compared to what his season average is. Um, and the way that I made my X, I feel like this is the most important line here, the 2.5 line here. Is I went Paul George, Westbrook, Simmons, Harris, the top. So this is my favorite line here. I always put the best players on this line, or the ones that I think are going to score the most fantasy points for me, the most bingo multipliers throughout the night. I put that on this line. Um, you notice that I put, even though JJ Redick and Butler were also like in the top of the fantasy points, I didn't put them on this line here, which I would normally do, because I feel like because other players are going to be not scoring as much, that this is also as equally good. These 2.4 line is also as equally good. So that's why I set it up this way instead of putting Jimmy Butler and Jade Redick in these two lines. So Scott and McConnell are kind of bench players, and I put, instead of putting the other starters in this line, I put the bench players here, because I feel like this is going to even out as much, and this line is going to also hit as much as this line. So this is what I'm going for. I'm going for this X, this diagonal line, and this column right here. This is what I think is going to be scoring the most points going into tonight. So I want to thank everyone for watching the Ranking Ball preview show for today. Tomorrow is a national holiday where I am, so there's going to be no Friday Ranking Ball preview show. If you have any questions, just let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to check us on social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Telegram, and a lot more places. So go to rankingball.com, find out more, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.